One quiet morning in 1999, Chester wakes up beside Sunny. She gently shares that her feelings have changed. She's starting to care for someone else. Though the news stings, Chester stays kind and calm, still showing his love for her. Instead of going separate ways, they agree to keep living together and see where things lead. After their talk, they go on with their day. Chester, who draws cartoons, heads to the basement to work on his book. Sunny, full of energy, gets ready to host her music video show. That night, Sunny brings up that she no longer needs her usual precautions, since they haven't been close for a while. The conversation grows tense, so Chester shifts the topic by complimenting her shirt and giving her a book with a cover he painted. She thanks him, then says she needs to go out. Chester offers to join her, but she kindly turns him down, saying he'd probably just find a quiet spot to read. Later on, at a music show, Sunny becomes drawn to one of the guitarists, Miles, and focuses her camera only on him. After the show, he walks over, compliments her shirt, and they hug, clearly showing he's the person she's been seeing. The next day, Chester has lunch with his comic artist friends. He opens up about what's been happening with Sunny. They doubt the situation will work out, warning that things may get harder if she becomes more involved with someone else. They suggest he try to balance things by seeing others too. Later, while Sunny goes out with Miles, her boyfriend stays alone at home. He plays with their dog, Mo, but seeing the book he gave her makes him feel sad. To cheer up, he goes to the basement and looks through an old magazine. That night, he asks her why she came home late. She says sorry. When he tries to be close to her, she refuses and tells him she can't because she is with Miles now. She says she feels confused about their open relationship. He listens and understands her. The next morning, Chester moves to the basement to sleep. From there, he hears Sunny and Miles upstairs. It makes him jealous, but he takes a deep breath and focuses on reading a book to calm down. The next day at the comic convention, he talks to his friend Kane about what happened yesterday. Instead of saying he felt jealous, he says the experience helped him overcome a part of himself he didn't like. Later, he checks on his other friend, Laura. She feels sad because no one showed up at her book signing. She admits she envies Mandy Mullins, a popular model who has many fans. Kane suggests Chester go to Mandy's signing, but Chester says no. Kane also tells him to take a photo with Mandy since he knows her, but Chester refuses, saying he's not willing to spend money just for a photo. Instead, Chester buys Laura's book and asks her to sign it. She is touched but gives him the money back, joking that he should save it to hire someone to keep him company. One afternoon, Chester sees Sunny on TV hosting a show. He can't stand it and quickly turns off the TV, then goes to the basement. There, he thinks about a quiet moment with Mandy Mullins. At first, he feels happy, but then Miles's voice comes to mind and ruins the feeling. Feeling restless, he takes some money and rides his bike to look for adult workers. Even though he tries hard, he doesn't find anyone and rides home. During dinner, he borrows a book by Jules Eros from Sunny and asks where Miles Island. She says Miles is sick at home and that she plans to check on him. Sunny then leaves to visit Miles but soon realizes he's not there. Feeling upset, she goes to a bar for a drink and unexpectedly sees Miles with another woman. Hurt, she quickly leaves while he calls after her. Meanwhile, Chester reads the part of the book that gives advice about hiring and treating women professionally. He writes down notes and starts calling the numbers listed in free newspapers, asking about the women and their prices. After many calls without luck, he finally arranges to meet Kitty. The next day, Kitty asks for payment right away. As she counts the money, Chester tries to relax, though he seems nervous. She then asks what he wants from their time together. When he says it's his first time, she tells him this is about what he wants and encourages him to speak honestly. During their time together, Kitty is kind and patient. She gives him encouragement instead of making him feel embarrassed. When it's over, Chester thanks her with a good tip, and she gratefully accepts because she needs the money. Feeling happy from the experience, Chester goes home with a smile. In the living room, Sunny notices he seems unusually cheerful. Without holding back, he tells her he paid for the company of a woman, which surprises her. When she asks why, he says he's trying new ways to feel close without being tied down in a relationship. She feels confused but supports him, only asking that he never brings anyone like that home. Sunny then shares that she ended things with Miles. Chester comforts her. A year later, they stay friends. Sunny has a new boyfriend named Carl. Chester still looks through magazines and websites to find companions and eventually meets Anne. The next day, he visits her, and after spending time together, they relax in bed, talking about their lives and his comic books. One night in the basement, Chester hears Sunny and Carl arguing. He thinks about getting involved but stops when he sees they are making up. The next morning, Chester tells his friends how uncomfortable it was to hear his ex and her new boyfriend fight. Laura says Sunny is fooled by Carl's looks and doesn't see his bad side. Then Kane changes the subject by teasing Chester about the woman he spends time with. Chester defends her, saying she is kind and that he gave her a copy of his newest comic as a gift. Kane questions how Chester treats the women he pays, but Chester says that getting to know them makes it feel less cold and more real. Kane laughs and says if that's what Chester wants, he should just find a real girlfriend. Later, at Anne's place, Chester remembers the talk with his friends and stays quiet during their time together. Anne notices he seems different and suggests he meet her friend Amanda. Chester agrees and books time with Amanda but soon finds out she is very strict. Before they get close, she shares some rules and carefully checks him. Later, Chester visits Anne's home but finds Amanda rushing to pack. She tells him the police had just searched their place, making the visitor uneasy. Before leaving, Chester gives her some money and tells Amanda to give it to her friend. Sunny and Carl are in the bath at home. When she sees him starting to fall asleep, she grabs her water gun and lightly sprays him, trying to wake him up in a fun way. This annoys him, and he quickly leaves the bathroom, surprising her. When Chester comes back, he finds the house in chaos and his ex sitting on the floor, crying. She explains Carl left her after an argument. Chester comforts her gently, saying it might be for the best. Even though she feels down, she still goes to work. Later, her tired and distracted behavior worries her coworkers. Soon after, Chester meets another woman named Tina, whose magazine photo caught his eye. But at her place, he's disappointed to see she looks very different, so he ends things quickly. Just as he's about to leave, he hears a group of women talking in the next room. Seizing the moment, he chooses another woman, Angelina, to spend time with that night. Unlike with his other partners, he doesn't share a warm moment with her because she can't speak English and stays quiet. At home, he talks about his recent meeting with Sunny. This makes his ex ask why he prefers younger women. He answers that younger women seem more attractive to him, which hurts his ex's feelings. The next day, Chester eats out with a friend. They ask why he lives the way he does, and suggest he should look for a serious relationship instead of many short ones. Chester replies firmly that being in one relationship is a waste of time and only for people who need constant attention. Years later, in 2002, Sunny nervously practices lines for her first movie. The director, Reed, comforts her by praising her talent. Meanwhile, Chester keeps seeing women for company, but he feels unhappy with his current one because she sounds rehearsed and acts rude. Because of this, he decides to visit Angelina again, but he is surprised to meet a different person with the same name. She tells him that the other Angelina has left this work. One evening, Sunny and Reed are walking home after watching a movie. Reed notices she often loses focus and advises her to stay careful about who she trusts. Moved by his advice, Sunny kisses him, and their romantic relationship begins. Meanwhile, Chester arranges to meet a woman who is older and less attractive than his usual companions. Annoyed by her being late and demanding, he cancels and goes home. Around this time, Sunny decides to leave her job as a host to try a new path. Later, at home, Chester looks through magazines and finds Ulysses, a woman who only meets clients at their homes. Surprised but hopeful after many disappointing experiences, he invites her over, ignoring Sunny's rule about their house. When she arrives, Chester leads her to the basement. She notices his collection of water jugs and playfully uses them to get his attention. Surprised, Chester offers her a drink and quickly goes upstairs to get it. When he returns, she is waiting in her lingerie, which excites him, and she draws him close. A little later, he says he had forgotten what a kiss feels like. Curious, he asks if she kisses all her clients. She replies that it's something extra they agreed on. Then she asks if he has a girlfriend. He says no, and explains that he doesn't want one. He thinks love can be bad, like making people feel they own each other. She disagrees, and says love is a choice. They share their different views about relationships. She also tells him she likes his comic book because she understands the stories. Then she asked if he was okay with her knowing who he really was. He nods and says he has nothing to hide. When she is about to leave, she sees Sunny with her new boyfriend. Both women are surprised to see each other. Sunny then talks to Chester about their rule of not bringing other women home and walks away. Ulysses, shocked, tells Chester that their arrangement won't work anymore and leaves feeling upset. That night, a calmer Sunny talks to her ex and tells him the truth. She explains that Ulyssa was married to her father, which makes Ulyssa her stepmother even though they are close in age. Sunny feels upset that her father married Ulyssa, especially knowing what she does for work. After her father died, Sunny and Ulyssa stopped talking. So, it was a shock for Sunny to see Ulyssa with her ex. Because of this, Sunny asks Chester to move out. This also lets Reed come live with her, since their relationship is getting serious. Chester agrees and leaves the next day. In his new home, his drawings begin to show how he feels inside. At Sunny's house, Reed takes down a picture of Sunny and Chester, but Sunny puts it back, showing she still cares about the past. One rainy day, Chester sees Ulyssa leading a learning tour. Feeling shy, he hides and watches her quietly, but she soon spots him and calls him out. Not long after, they meet again at his place. Even though they both know Sunny, they spend the day close, reconnecting their bond. For the next few days, Chester and the woman by the street share a quiet, close relationship. He keeps seeing her in a paid way. One evening, while sitting in bed, they talk about their interests in life. Ulyssa says she likes architecture and thinking about right and wrong. She tells him she started this work during college, which helped her feel more confident. Lately, she decided to have fewer clients, and playfully says he stayed on her list. Chester gives her a copy of his new comic book, The Mighty Comic. She is happy and asks him to sign it with her real name, Denise. Chester asks why she went back to this work after her husband passed away. She answers that she likes being free to do what she wants and still earn money. The next day, at a comic convention, Chester, Kane, and Cecile congratulate Laura on her new comic. They also see Mandy Mullins with her husband and daughter still attending events. Remembering how Mandy inspired him years ago, Chester goes up to her, thanks her for being important in his life, and then leaves to meet Denise. Denise tells Chester she plans to quit her job and go back to school. Chester is supportive but suggests being her only client, which Denise hesitates over. Meanwhile, Sunny convinces Reed to take a sudden trip to Costa Rica to see sloths, hoping for peace. They relax by the ocean, but Reed shocks Sunny by confessing he's falling for someone else, leaving her heartbroken. Sunny talks with Suzo, who advises her to focus on herself. Sunny asks Suzo to hire her at her new production company, and Suzo agrees. After a while, Chester and Denise agree to see only each other. She lets him include her in his new book but asks for privacy. Sunny feels sad after Mo's death. He visits Sunny and finds her playing a soft song on the piano. She's surprised but happy to see him. They hug and go inside. Chester gives her a drawing of Mo. With tears, they share a quiet moment, finding comfort in their memories.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and stay connected with us.